film that takes place underwater and this whole sort of relationship with the sea and the undersea world. And all the undersea creatures in this movie are going to be created via animation. And the animation won't be computer animation. The animation is going to be stop motion, traditional animation, where we're building models and, you know, little sculptures which are being built in San Francisco by Henry Selick and his crew. And he's going to be animating all these characters, and then they're going to be placed into the scene. So there will be, you know, technology used to marry the two worlds together, but both the things are going to be actual created objects.
This is the first
My job here in Rome is being the conduit between Wes and the animation unit, which is happening simultaneously in San Francisco, and working with Wes to help him get the designs that he wants.
Maybe these need to have a little bit of curvature to them or something, you know? Because I think when they get too straight, maybe they start to look... Yeah, it looks like it might be a mechanical thing. But that's just a little...
A lot of the creatures in this film are just slightly different than reality. Now, I'm got more of a cartoon background, even if it's stop motion. I'm used to larger exaggeration. Wes is more interested in subtle exaggeration. His sense of humor is a little more, I don't know, delicate. And you know, I really admire it, but it makes it a lot harder for us. It takes a few weeks to get used to Wes's aesthetic. You kind of can't believe it at first, but then eventually you start to see the value and clarity of it, and then you go for it.
Henry took me seriously with the Paisley octopus when he went to town. There's a lot of Paisleys here.
This one. I mean, what if we had it like that? I mean, that almost feels like, it also the way it's blurred, you know?
Yeah.
This is kind of a good one. This feels like it could be...
Yeah, there is like a seahorse that sort of looks like that.
Yeah, we were serious.
I know, I was serious, but he laughed. And he took it as a personal project.
Good.
This is 2 research turtle tests.
Every scene that we did, the creatures they'd been designed, and we would put them in the computer and do a facsimile of what they might be when they're animated. That's where we begin, and then he sees other opportunities.
Does the mouth open and close? Maybe you can open and close the mouth when it's on the way in, since it won't be looking to us yet, and then it can look at us at the end. So when it gets up beside us, it'll look at us and shine the light in our face.
Okay.
Wes is an endlessly creative person, and it's refreshing and challenging for us in that anytime you show him something, he sees that as an opportunity to improve it or to introduce a new idea. And eventually he has to sign off, he has to let go. But that's been fun.
You have to see, this was supposed to be 4 or 5 feet long. And when the animator animated this, it swam through the water really slowly, and then its head moves really slowly, so it gives a lot of illusion of mass. And this was an interesting puppet also because it's supposed to have this little sub on its back with this little camera inside. There's a little light sticking through the head. So when we did it, we made a hollow shell inside with, you can see it getting opened up. There's little electronics inside. That one was really, took a long time because I asked him to sculpt all the wrinkles on it, which was, yeah, he was happy doing it, but.
This is the porcupine fish. This was created by sculpting around a hollow core and then casting the puppet with the hollow core still inside. And so it was a puppet that's a cross between a puppet and a balloon.
This was not a stop-motion puppet. This was a puppet that we put in a water tank. It was a water puppet. And it had to be really flexible. And basically, Miguel sculpted this so that it would already be kind of in a swimming position. So when we put it in the tank, we had a little umbrella, a mechanical umbrella over here that basically can be pulled, and each tentacle was anchored on one of these, and basically it was pulled through the water so it could swim realistically. So this is another water puppet. So it was supposed to flow through the water. And we have all these little cables that are pulling the wings that basically had these little handles. So this was swimming through the water. And the tail, all this material that's dragging floats in water. So which is really nice because basically its tail kind of stayed straight in the water and just moved as we moved it through the water. The challenge with this guy is that its belly is supposed to be a star pattern. So all these little points of lights are fiber optic cables. So there's about 250 fiber optic cables. This was a really interesting puppet too, for hummingbird fish, because it had a little motor in it. And these little wings move during the exposure.
Stop motion animation is an ancient form of animation. It goes back to the very beginning of trick film photography. And, you know, there's a handful of people in the world who have specialized in this strange form of animation, and they are the animators, they are actors, and they're actually doing a performance from beginning to end, but in very slow motion through their puppets. So you have a character like myself, you know, imagine me as an animal with arms, and you need to have a hand reach out to here, come back, and clap. An animator will come in there and grab this, if I'm the puppet, grab it and move it about that much, take a frame, another frame, another frame, another frame, another frame. He'll slow out there to get a pose. You get a lot of frames there. Move back quickly. You take bigger motions, clap, moves together quickly, and out. So it's a successive series of stills. And if there's a complex character, say the crabs in Life Aquatic, which have 8 limbs and they're crawling around, you have to think crab. You have to imagine, how does something with that many legs move around? It's not a person. It's not something you can just feel yourself. So it's an arcane but highly fascinating and beautiful way to bring things to life. This is the jaguar shark. This is probably the biggest stop motion puppet that's ever been created. When you're shooting things that are supposed to look like they're swimming, and if it's this big and heavy, you want it to sag against gravity. So upside down makes it look more like it's in water. It's one thing to shoot spaceships, which is a tradition here at ILM, but to create organic motion on all these creatures is a whole nother art, and I think the guys have done a great job at that.